Owen, do you see that up in the sky?
What is that? It's a
Is it a
bird.
bird?
It's a bird. No, it's a
Is it a
plane.
plane? Oh wait, no, it's Superman! Superman teaser trailer 2025 with David Cornsweet as Clark Kent slash Superman. So Owen, Superman is James Gunn told us that this is going to be a Superman that believes in hope and is not only color graded in black and white like for Zack Snyder. So the first thing we see in the trailer is Superman bleeding, and which is been it's been up in it's been contentioned lately with some of the people watching it about can Superman bleed. We know that technically Superman never answered that question when Batman asked in Batman v Superman, but it looks like this movie is telling us straight off the bat, yep, Superman can indeed bleed. So what do you think about Superman bleeding?
Have you seen Superman 2? He bleeds. I mean, granted, granted, he also lost his powers, but he does bleed. We've seen it
Listen,
before.
this
It's not
is
the first
just
time we've seen it, is what I'm saying.
as soon as I saw Superman bleeding, there's a couple of villains in this movie. There's Ultra. I know that there's Ultraman, who's ultimately going to be like working and walking around with Lex Luthor. There's the Engineer, and then the man, the myth of the hour. We have Nicholas Hoult as Lex Luthor, which I am so excited to see Lex Luthor again, and have it not be Jesse Eisenberg.
Uh, can I ask you a
dude,
question? Who's
go
Ultraman?
for it.
Who's Ultraman?
Okay, that's a great question. I'm gonna wait a minute to get back into that because I also have not a clue. So really, I know that as we're gonna get back to that because we're gonna touch on that. But for now, like also in there, it looked like Superman got beat pretty badly. As obviously right now, we don't know who did that. But we see that somebody messed him up good, and obviously it has to be one of those three. It was either Ultraman did a number, Lex Luthor did a number, or the Engineer did a number. So we don't know yet, but honestly, I'm very looking forward to finding out. I cannot wait to see Lex Luthor. Nicholas Hoult looked phenomenal in the 2 seconds that he got in the trailer. And
Agreed.
that gorgeous bald head. Love when you see that bald, especially when he's in Luthor Corp and he looks out the window and you see Superman fly by and he turns around and he almost looks like Gordon Ramsay. Like, doesn't it look like he's about to cuss his employees out? Like, it looks like he's about to do like a Kylo Ren, like, blow that piece of junk out of the sky! Like, he's just like, get Superman!
More!
Yeah! Get Superman away from this tower now!
Yeah.
That's perfect. That's exactly, Lex Luthor would be like, get away from me! Like, leave me alone!
Yeah.
But for that, in this trailer, it seems that Superman is not gonna be well liked. We see a couple hints to that, with two of the main ones being the clip where it shows Superman, half of his suit looks like it's like dirtied, like he had just got done with a fight, and a citizen of Metropolis throws like a can at the back of his head. And later in this same scene, they show a shot that's maybe a couple seconds after this happens, which is inside of the Simon Stagg building. Which Simon Stagg, if you remember, that was that like. If you've ever played this game, I can't remember, but Arkham Knight, he was that lousy, sleazy CEO that was working with Scarecrow. So it looks like his
I'm in the middle
company,
of that
yeah.
game.
Okay, so
I haven't got there yet.
in that game, you're gonna run into Simon Stagg.
Oh, wait.
His company is
I have
yeah,
played that
that's
game.
in the trailer.
It's been a while.
So yeah, so if you look in the back of when Superman is looking down and he looks like he's like sad or mad about something, in the background you'll see Stagg Industries. So that's Simon Stagg's company. And that's the scene where we also see walking into frame Isabella Merced is Hawkgirl. We see Nathan Fillion wearing that beautiful green ring and putting like a shield between the outside and the inside as Guy Gardner's Green Lantern, which is the one that everyone hates on Earth because he's
I don't
just
know him. I don't know
You don't know
anything
Guy
about him.
Gardner?
Well, I know that he exists, but I don't know much about him, is what I mean.
Let me educate the world on Guy Gardner. So here's really all you gotta know. Dude's kind of a dick, and he has pretty much a bowl cut, redhead, and he's just super sassy, but he's usually pretty funny at the same time. He's a jerk, though. Like, that's the biggest thing. All the other Green Lanterns are like, this guy. Like, oh my god. So, Nathan Fillion, a lot of people were upset because Nathan Fillion had been a fan cast for a very long time to be the regular Hal Jordan Green Lantern.
Yeah.
But now we're not getting Nathan Fillion as him. We're getting him as Green Gardner. Green Gardner. So we're getting him as Guy Gardner Green Lantern. So it seems like citizens are turning on Superman. At least, this is going to lead me right into my... well, actually, we'll wait on that. At least American citizens. But I'll circle back to that in a couple notes later. But there's also what it looked like to me. I heard a rumor of it on the internet, and I noticed it when I saw the trailer too. It seems like Green Lantern, Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific as well was in the scene. He walked in as well. It seems like they were on a team. Because if you look in the shot of all of them walking towards Superman, they're all wearing very similar outfits. So it looks like they might be on like a super team. And I know that that was also a point of contention because Guy Gardner is not wearing his iconic Green Lantern outfit. And it's like, because it's usually like a green vest. He has like these black sleeves, big gloves, and like it's usually an intimidating look. It looks pretty cool.
Like spikes on him before.
Yeah, so that's part of his normal outfit. But he's not wearing that, so people are like, why does he look like that? It looks like they may be part of like a super team at this point. So we might see a regular Green Lantern costume in this movie, but it looks like the first part we're going to see of him is when he is on like a super team with Hawkgirl, Mr. Terrific.
I heard, I don't know, who's Mr. Terrific? Can you pique my memory?
Yes. So who's playing Mr. Terrific, or who
no,
is
like
Mr.
the character.
Terrific?
I can't remember who the character is. Like,
yes.
What is...
So Mr. Terrific. I know that. I think. Let me double check. So Mr. Terrific. I know that his. He doesn't really have like powers, but he has an extreme knowledge of devices, and he's known for making, like, I believe they refer to it as terrific tech. So that he's like Mr. Terrific, and his big thing, his costume, this one is very, very, like, we saw, this is another reason I think we're going to see Guy Gardner's actual outfit, because in this teaser, we saw Mr. Terrific in an outfit that also looked like it was part of this super team, but later on, you see Mr. Terrific in like his comic accurate jacket, and he has the big letter T that covers up part of his face and like goes all the way down past his mouth. Yep.
This guy. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, I've never seen him before, honestly. I thought that would like pique my memory, but no, I don't know who he is. But he looks cool.
Was in, well, the picture you just showed me is from X-Men First Class.
X-Men.
Yeah, the picture you just put up was a picture of him in X-Men First Class.
Oh, you mean the actor?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense. Because I was gonna say,
also, you are aware that I'm gonna have to cut most of this, so let's move on to the next part.
Wait, why?
But because we're getting off topic, we need to stay on topic.
But okay,
so,
well, I don't know. I feel like it deals with like the trailer because I don't know.
So, moving on from the super team, what did you think of the reworked John Williams theme?
I thought it was awesome. It brought me back to Christopher Reeve's Superman, which I love. Give me flashbacks.
Listen,
really
as you know, John Williams is one of my favorite composers of all time. Him and Danny Elfman are phenomenal. And John Williams, obviously, he created one of the most iconic themes. And I think that one of my favorite parts of Superman in general is that John Williams made a theme so legendary that it is legitimately stuck with the character ever since. Yeah. I think that other than the Christopher Reeves movies, this will be the third the fourth time, technically, that the John Williams Superman theme has come back to be played for a Superman that wasn't Christopher Reeve. Because in 2005, I believe, when it was Superman Returns, when it was Brandon Routh. Yep.
Yeah.
So when it came back with Brandon, that theme came with him.
Yep.
It was in the 2017 Justice League, the terrible one, with Danny Elfman bringing back the John Williams theme. And he also brought back his original theme for Batman from the 1989 Batman. And then now it sounds like they're going to be using a reworked version for this Superman. So I love it. A theme that is so iconic that it is literally just synonymous with the character. Like, you can't get rid of it.
I was
love
actually
that.
kind of upset that it wasn't in the Henry Cavill one, Man of Steel, or the Batman vs
I
Superman.
get it, but also I am also just such a huge fan of Hans Zimmer that I very much love the Man of Steel soundtrack.
That's fair, but it's not John Williams though.
It's not. You're right. This one is definitely just
Hans
more
Zimmer
iconic
could've-
because it's lived longer. This has been a theme since the 70s. So this has been around for decades, and Hans
70.
Zimmer had to try to come up with a theme. Yeah, these movies are from the 70s.
78,
so
I was going to say 78, I think, is when that movie came out, the first one.
So yeah, literally been around for decades,
Yeah.
and it's become synonymous with the character, being used in like everything from obviously the Christopher Reeves movies, the Lego Superman, just like the Lego Batman brought back the 1989 theme, and then it's come back for a couple of the live action as well. So it pretty much is the character of Superman. There's a really deep, like, it's worked itself in. It's synonymous with the character at this point. So I really liked hearing that. That was amazing.
Yeah.
And especially hearing it over, in my opinion, what is the money shot of this trailer, which is the debris flying towards that little girl, and Superman like jumps in really quick to like cover her so she doesn't get hit by any of the debris, which is tried and true, red, white, and blue, truth, justice, and a better tomorrow. That is the perfect Superman shot. It reminded me of, I'm not saying they copied it because this kind of shot's just been done a lot. It's just the save the victim shot. It's just synonymous with superheroes in general. But it made me think of that comic where Spider-Man is stopping that bus from hitting the kid that's like listening to music while crossing the street. It made me think of that. And that's one of those moments where as soon as you see it, it's kind of like from Thor Ragnarok, where he's like, because that's what heroes do. Like, that's just what superheroes are. It's like, hey, a brief mistake was made, but someone doesn't deserve to die because of a brief mistake. And this shot was perfect for that. I loved the hell out of that shot.
It reminds me of the scene in Superman 1 where Superman 1 where the dam's crashing and the kid falls in and then he goes to save him. Maybe that's... I don't know. It might be in the second one. I think it's in the second one. It's in the Niagara Falls. The kid falls and then he goes to grab him. But it reminds me of that because he's saving a kid. And I don't know. It's cool.
Yeah, listen, I'll tell you, it's just, Superman is obviously almost, I think he probably is, the first, like, superhero, or like the modern superhero, because he was made a year before Batman, 1938. Batman was in 1939. So Superman was first released in 1938. So he is to my knowledge, he's the oldest superhero on the books, and he's the modern day one. Like, he's the guy, and it all started almost like 90 years ago now.
Yeah.
We're 4 years away from the 90th anniversary of Superman. So listen, when I turn 38, we'll be hitting 100 years for Superman. That'll be a party year for sure.
And then his movies, I think he had like one of the first popular superhero movies of all time as well. So,
well, Yeah, technically, because there was also the 1966 Adam West Batman movie, and that was
Oh,
pretty
that's
good.
true. I forgot about that.
Yeah, because Adam West hit it
So
pretty big.
yeah, I'm wrong. I'm wrong. So it's the
But
second. The
you're
second.
right saying that like Superman is the one that really got the ball rolling for the modern superhero adaptions because
That's kind of what
Superman
I.
was
Yeah.
yeah, Superman was made and that's what made room for Batman. And then
Yeah.
Batman made room for like some of the other so it's yes, the
Yeah.
Superman definitely started that snowball effect that ultimately landed us to where we are today,
Yeah.
where I probably would have gotten a swirly in high school if anyone would have known I had a Black Panther poster at my house. Because they would have been like, superheroes, and you're like, well, whatever, Kevin, they're cool. But it's just, yeah, it definitely got the ball rolling. My favorite part, I already mentioned the character in here, but when we see Superman fly out and we see Lex Luthor get mad, it zooms out and we see Luthor Corps,
Hmm.
or Luthor Corp, which is his company. So that already tells us that Lex Luthor is already the tried and true CEO that we know him to be in the comics, where this is someone who's a CEO, he hates Superman, and he has all of the resources necessary to be able to rock that dude's world and just turn it
Hmm.
upside down. So, I think that Luthor Corp, especially in this movie alone, let alone in the future of the DCU, is going to be a huge thorn in the side of Superman. Not only Superman, but for a lot of what's to come in the future, because from Creature Commandos, we already know that Amanda Waller is already in this universe. And there's a history between Amanda Waller and Lex Luthor really like Amanda Waller wants Lex Luthor to be her puppet, but Lex Luthor is kind of one of those beings that's too smart to be controlled by someone in the government. Like I think
Yeah.
it was one of my favorite quotes from a Lex Luthor iteration in general is I think the Justice League animated show. It might have been Justice League or Justice League Unlimited, but Superman walked into his office, or no, it was The Question. Walked into Lex Luthor's office and was trying to kill him, and Lex Luthor, he was like, "You're gonna try to run for president, and I don't want you to." And Lex Luthor like punches him in the face, and he goes, "Do you know how much power I would have to give up in order to become president?" And I'm like, "That's the craziest thing anyone's ever said." So that's Lex Luthor is a figure to be feared and a figure to behold overall. So I was really excited to see him in this teaser, as well as Luthor Corp in general, because I think that they are going to be a formidable foe in the future of the DCU, and I cannot wait to see it.
Yeah.
Um,
What would be really cool if is he got into his mech suit and had the kryptonite axe.
I can't wait to see the mech suit. I'm
That
going to
would
stop
be
there.
in live action. Oh my gosh, that would be
I'm going to
so
stop
amazing.
there because I cannot wait to see the purple and green mech suit. I
I hope
cannot
they do
wait.
that. That would be
I
one thing. That would be one
yeah.
thing that I feel like could make Superman bleed.
James Gunn, please. James Gunn, please. My another part of this trailer, something that I have a question about, is that this is kind of I'm going to mix the next 2 points together because I think they go hand in hand. So there's a kid. We see a kid. People are running away, and this kid kind of planted his feet, planted this pole in the ground, and he's hoisting it up, and it has a
The
Superman
Superman.
flag on it, and
Yeah.
he's like clutching it for dear life, and he's like holding on as tight as possible, and he's just saying Superman, Superman, Superman. And so he's calling out. He needs help. He's trying to be saved by Superman. And there's a couple spots in this trailer where you even see it on the news at one point where they're talking about a war or like some sort of battle that's going on near the border of a country. So it made me curious to think that I don't think it's going to take over the whole movie, but I think that a sliver of this movie might get a tad bit political because Superman himself, they've accused him of being like woke recently, and by that I mean like caring for immigrants. But it was pretty much like in this one, they changed his catchphrase overall. It used to be "Truth, Justice, and a Better America," or like in "Truth, Justice, and the American Way." Now DC officially changed his slogan to "Truth, Justice, and a Better Tomorrow," which is perfect, but some people are like, why did you take America out of there? And everyone's like, well, it's Superman. He's worldwide, not just America. And this might be touching on that a little bit. So I think that this movie might get a tiny bit political, at least regarding one portion of the movie, because that kid's calling out for Superman, and we see, like, hey, there's something going on the border of another country. So I think that even the military might have a problem with Superman, or maybe maybe Lex Luthor is like, he's threatening the American way by working with these people over on, and then that might be why we even see the citizens turning against Superman, is because why aren't you protecting us? Why are you protecting them? And he's like, well, I'm here for all of you. That's kind of the point of me being Superman. I'm not here for only Metropolis. I'm literally worldwide. Like, I can get there this fast.
That's a good theory. I didn't think about that.
People in America might have a problem with that because they want it to be like, why are you not helping us? You're one of us. And he's like, well, technically, I'm not. I'm an alien known as Kal-El from a different planet where my parents exploded. Mm-hmm. But that's why I think that Superman might get caught in politics a little bit, because it's showing them all mad at him. And as we know, Lex Luthor is someone who really likes to get Superman in somewhere where he doesn't have as much knowledge as Lex Luthor has. And usually that's like a political arena or like a political stage where he has to get Superman to talk about like politics, and then Lex Luthor can take what he says and use it against him. This is used perfectly in the animated Superman show that just came out, My Adventures with Superman. Lex Luthor gets Jimmy Olsen on a stage, and they talk about why Superman is a menace. And Lex Luthor is providing reasons that we as the audience are like, bro, shut up, it's Superman. Like, he's awesome. But living in Metropolis, some of these points might have made sense to some of these people. So that's why they're starting to get upset. So maybe even in this one, Superman is getting caught up in politics, and it is indeed the working of Lex Luthor doing it.
You just spoiled the show for me.
Listen.
I haven't got that far yet.
That's in season 2.
I'd only watched season 1.
You're late. You got it.
I am.
You gotta get caught up.
I will have to get caught up. I didn't know there was a season 2 yet. I watched up to season 2, and I watched up to through season 1, and that's all there was at the time.
Season 2 came out like this year. I watched it as it came out at work on my lunch break.
Okay, well, yeah,
I'd go on my lunch break and be like, Superman, play.
I didn't even know.
Yeah, no, it's highly recommended. It's a very good show. I'm not kidding. What I spoiled for you was 5 minutes of one episode.
Okay, so
that's the only time it happens.
Okay,
so it's not fine. I still spoil it, so I apologize. But
it's okay.
It's 5 minutes of one episode, and then it goes right back to something else.
Because I know
it's not the whole show. I promise.
The villain in the first season was Brainiac. Correct.
Yeah.
I didn't see Lex Luthor at all, is what I mean. Right?
Yeah. You'll see.
Okay.
You'll know what I mean by that when you see
In the first season, I don't remember seeing him, I guess is what I mean.
You'll see. You'll understand.
So there's a twist, is what I hear. There's a twist.
It's not really a twist.
Okay.
If you were a fan, you probably saw it coming. If not, it might be considered a twist for you.
Are you saying I'm not a fan?
It might be considered a twist for you, but for some of us who have played this game for long enough and we know exactly where to look for clues, they left a tiny hint. And I have an idea.
I kind of have an idea of what you're saying. I mean, Brainiac isn't a robot species. Brainiac is an alien, right? Is that where you're going with that, or no?
No.
Okay, good.
Nope, it's something totally different.
Okay, good.
Also the last point I want to make is Creature Commandos. Obviously, show still coming out, not fully released yet. I wanted to bring this up because I believe they've spoken about the fact that Rick Flag Sr. is going to show up in Superman. So that's Frank Grillo is going to show up as Rick Flag Sr. in this movie. And obviously we've already seen him in a couple episodes of Creature Commando, so I'm curious to see in what capacity he's going to be in this movie. Maybe we are going to see a glimpse of Amanda Waller already. Maybe we're going to see her either working with Lex Luthor, working with the Engineer. Who knows? It's obviously we'll have to see and find out, but I know that there's going to be a slight crossover between Creature Commandos and Superman. So obviously we probably aren't going to see any of the creatures in live action. If I have to see Weasel
Not
again
yet.
in a Superman movie, that'll be crazy. But
Not yet.
it's like, hey guys, here's Weasel, Superman. You're like, what? But yeah, we aren't going to see them yet, but we are going to see Rick Flag Sr. So I'm curious as to, or we might. James Gunn's already said there's some stuff that has been shot to set up something else in the DCU, but he said if it doesn't make sense or if it takes away from the movie, he's going to cut it. So maybe Rick Flag Sr. is one of those. We don't know. But that's I have some questions now. So what are you most excited for after watching this teaser trailer?
Superman. I'm excited for Superman. I'm excited for this movie so much. It's gonna be awesome. I don't know. I heard that it's possible that the Justice League could already be formed. I think that would be really cool to see. If that were the Justice League, Guy Gardner and Hawkgirl. No, you don't seem happy about that.
No, it's not that I'm not happy about it. It's just that
I just it's a theory. It's not like anything.
I know, no, I know. It's just that I know that they would be missing one of their founding members.
Batman.
I hope correct. I hope it's not the case yet, because as someone who's a huge Batman fan, I prefer when it's I won't be mad if it happens. Like, don't get me wrong. If I find out the Justice League's already been formed, I'm like, okay, I just have to wait a couple years and then Batman will be there. Okay, I got time. I'll wait.
It could be too, like Batman did help form it, but he's just not there at the time. It could be.
I would freak out. I'd be like, okay, James, who's Batman? Now that we're mentioning him by name, who's Batman?
I really do want to know that. That's a big unanswered.
I know. I can't wait. They keep telling us like, oh, here's who's cast for this, and I'm like, where's Batman, Jamesathan? Like, where is he at? I just can't wait. I just love Batman. Also, I love Superman. That's why we're here. I was gonna ask if you had any predictions for this. I know I went on a long tangent about mine.
At first, when you know the scene where they show like the green orb and like the purple beam, I kind of thought that there was going to be some involvement with Brainiac, but now you talked about all the villains that are going to be in it, that it doesn't sound like that's going to be possible, because I really want to see a live action Brainiac at some point. I think that'd be really cool.
I think we will.
I hope so. I really do, because he's a really
with
really
James Gunn. I think we
villain.
will, because I think he'll be interested.
Villain.
I think down the line, James Gunn will be interested to have Brainiac in this universe in some sort of capacity.
He should. I mean, he's like one of the toughest villains.
Think about it. We already got Starro from the Suicide Squad, so I could definitely see him bringing Brainiac in the future.
True. I don't know what I'm most excited for. I don't know. I'm excited to see how well David Corenswet plays Superman and Clark Kent. Like, I think he'll do a great job. And seeing James Gunn's version of Superman should be amazing. I'm super pumped.
Just to remind everybody that David Corenswet graduated from Juilliard, went to the most prestigious acting institute in the world. Same place that Alan Tudyk graduated, who played Hey Hey the Chicken in Moana. He voices Clayface in the Harley Quinn animated show. And I know that he played a character in Pearl. He gets murdered, so he wasn't Superman in that. But he's also in the show Hollywood on Netflix, and he's in the show The Politician on Netflix. He was phenomenal in both of those. He was also in the movie Lady in the Lake. Very, very good in that. He gives a phenomenal performance. He's like a grieving father, and it is powerful. Like, it's one of those performances where you're like, listen, you don't want to cry, but you see acting that is so good that you just genuinely can't help it. You're like, I have to feel emotion because this person is just doing so well at their job. So I think he's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to see him get more credit, because people are finally going to, like, everyone around the world is going to be like, I know who David Corenswet is now. I hope it does the same thing for David that it did to Henry Cavill when he got when Man of Steel came out. Everyone was like, I now know who Henry Cavill is because he's Superman.
Well,
I hope
also,
that same exact thing happens
Reeve
with David Cornsweet.
and Christopher Reeve, same thing.
Yeah, I'm just happy because I'm like, this is something that could be a break. He's already done phenomenal, so I think he's already broken out. He's already a talent. But this could be that one where it's like, now you're going to be a household name. And I really hope that happens because he's phenomenal. Nicholas Hoult, he's been around for a bit, and he's had some phenomenal performances in the past.
Beast.
He's coming up. He's going to be in Nosferatu in this month. It comes out in like a week. It comes out, in a week on Christmas. So that's coming out, and he's phenomenal. Nathan Fillion, he's already been in the DCU a couple of times, as well as being the detachable kid in the Suicide Squad.
Yeah.
And he also played a couple characters in Guardians, so he collaborates with James Gunn a lot.
Yeah.
But I am most excited for... I will go back on your point with David Cornsweet. I'm also very excited for that. But I would say the thing I'm the most excited for is to see Lex Luthor, because I love Lex Luthor. I think he is a genius. I think that he's so fun to watch when he's done correctly. Like, when you nail Lex Luthor, you know it because people enjoy seeing him. Like, even the people who aren't supposed to like him, because he just has that, like, he's just so smart that you just love to watch his plans come to fruition, because you're like, he just thought of everything. Like, how is he 10 steps ahead of Superman? Like, he honestly feels like his own version of Batman minus the fighting, because he just feels like he's so smart you could never win against him. And I think that's what makes him such a formidable foe, because Superman is smart, but he also is mostly brawn. He's very strong. And then Lex Luthor is the very opposite. He's usually not very strong without the power suit. Like, he's like a fit guy and he can fight, but it's Superman. Like, this is the guy who I just blew you to Mars. Like, you're gone. So this is like, you have to have a certain amount of brass balls to be able to take on someone like that. And Lex Luthor has the money to buy those balls. So
I was gonna say I was shocked to hear you say that you're most excited for Lex Luthor, but then I realized Josh rooting for the villain. That's not a surprise. Not at all. It makes sense.
Yeah. I bring up my Joker tattoo and point out my Galactic Empire hat.
Well, yeah,
and my
that's
Darth
what
Vader tattoo.
That's what made me realize it's like, why should I be shocked? Josh rooting for the villain? Yeah, that makes sense.
This is the correct choice, so I don't know what you're talking about. But it was
no.
We already kind of talked about what we're most excited for and who we're excited for. So really, other than that, do you have any last comments for the Superman teaser trailer?
Are we going to go back to the Ultraman thing, or is that later on thing?
Yes, we can, because I know nothing about him. Ultraman is from the same movie where they had James Woods, who voiced Hades in the Hercules movie. He voiced Owlman. And Ultraman was it's basically the evil, homicidal Superman, but this Ultraman is looking a little bit different. I'm not sure if they're going to go the same route with it. But yes, pretty much like gangster Superman is.
I just looked up
is.
the image of him, and it's literally Superman with a U on his. And then I realized right away that he's from that movie. I thought that was Crisis on Two Earths with Owlman.
It is, yeah.
Oh, is that what you said?
Well, yeah, it's Crisis on Two Earths. Yep, that's the one.
Okay.
I just said a movie with James Woods. I didn't say the title of it, but it was Crisis on Two Earths.
Yes. So that's where I've seen him in, and I did not realize that was I didn't put two and two together at all. But yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Yeah. So Ultraman. So glad we could get that figured out.
Yeah.
But yeah, is there anything else you want to mention for the Superman teaser trailer? It's gonna be a while. We have to wait. Think about it. Another 7 months before this movie comes out.
I can't wait.
July 11th.
I can't wait.
I cannot wait. I'm so excited.
Yeah, me too. We didn't talk about crypto at all, and I thought that was really cool.
Oh my god, we didn't talk about crypto. We're stupid.
they've never
Crypto
put
the
that.
Super Dog.
They've never put that in any other live-action Superman movie, if I'm not incorrect about that.
Crypto is phenomenal in this trailer, and he's only in it for like 2.5 seconds, and that's what's so
Bring
great,
me
especially because he
home.
whistles and you see that snow just flying, and I'm like, there he is, and he came in, he started barking, he's jumping around, and I'm like, Crypto, and he just went, Crypto, take me home, and I'm like, that is the goodest boy, because he grabbed that cape, started taking him right back, and I'm like, they're going to the Fortress of Solitude, man.
There was
He's
another
taking him
thing. There's another thing I wanted to mention about that. I heard that James Gunn said that they will have an interesting relationship, Superman and Crypto. So that's something to look forward to, I guess. Or
I can't wait.
Look for, yeah. Like
can't wait.
I don't know what that means necessarily. A theory that I heard was maybe that
Well, Crypto is smarter than your average dog, so I
Yeah,
can see
yeah.
them putting a little bit more emotional complexity in there.
So what I heard is that it could be that maybe he's not fully trained yet or something like that, and he's kind of like learning. Like I don't know, but that's a theory I heard. But
If Crypto super pisses in this movie, I'll die. Like, Crypto's like, oh, I gotta pee, slashes an iceberg in half because it's like fucking toxic piss. I'd be like, that's crazy, bro. Like that Crypto the super dog just
I don't know
tore
if we'll
this,
see that.
like,
I don't know if we'll see
we'll
that.
have to see. We'll have to see.
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
I'm not gonna
But
be
yeah.
against it. I'm not gonna be against it.
Anything with Crypto, I'll take it.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, other than that, I think we can clock out of this with
Yep.
hoping for the ultimate conquering of truth, justice, and ultimately a better tomorrow.
Yeah.
But everyone else,
Yep.
we're going to see all you nerds on July 11th, 2025 to see the new Superman.
Hell yeah.